Look down at your feet for a second. Those feet, and the feet of every human who ever lived, carried our kind across the whole earth. No wheels, no engines, no roads or maps, no idea what was over the next hill. Just legs and lungs and a deep, restless feeling that said, keep going. See what is out there? Think about how big this is. Humans started in one part of Africa. That is it. One place, one land. A small group of people who could have just stayed. They had food. They had shelter. They had all they needed. And still, over thousands of years, they walked. They walked north out of Africa. They walked across the Middle East, into Europe, across all of Asia. They walked into frozen lands where the cold could kill you in hours. They crossed water they could not see across. They walked into deserts, over mountains, through jungles. They reached Australia. They reached the far tip of South America, about as far from Africa as you can get on this planet. On foot, no one told them what was out there because no one knew. Every step into new land was a step into the unknown, taken by someone who had no idea if they would find a good home or death. And they kept taking those steps for tens of thousands of years, until almost every part of Earth had a human footprint on it. Who? So here's the big question. Why? Why would people who had all they needed keep leaving it behind? What makes a whole species walk to the ends of the Earth when it did not have to? And here is the part that may surprise you. That same restless pull, the one that carried humans across the planet, is still inside you right now. This is the story of the greatest journey ever taken. And why we could never stop taking it. Before we ask why they traveled, you need to know how. Because the how is one of the most amazing facts about your own body. You, sitting there, belong to the greatest long-distance traveling animal that has ever lived. And you probably had no idea. Here is the thing. In a short race, almost any animal can beat you. A deer, a dog, even a squirrel would leave you behind. Over a short sprint, humans are slow and weak. But that is the wrong race. Over long distance, hour after hour after hour, humans are some of the best travelers in the whole animal world. We can just keep going. Long after most animals have to stop. And there is a beautiful reason for it, built right into your body. You are made to travel. Look at the proof you carry around. You have long, springy legs that store and release energy with every step, so walking costs you very little. You walk on two legs, which saves a lot of energy over long trips. And here is the secret weapon that changes everything. You sweat. Oh, almost no other animal cools itself the way we do, through sweat on smooth skin while still moving. Most animals have to stop and pant to cool down. You do not. You can keep going under a hot sun for hours, while a faster, stronger animal has to stop in the shade and rest. This is why some human hunters could catch animals much faster than themselves, using nothing but patience. They would follow at a slow, steady pace, hour after hour, until the animal overheated and dropped, while the human was still going strong. We did not outrun our prey, we outlasted it. And that same body, that same engine, is what let our ancestors cross whole continents. We are, quite simply, an animal built to go the distance. So the how is clear. Humans are walking machines made to cover ground like almost nothing else alive, which makes the real mystery even bigger. If you are this good at traveling, the question is not, can you cross the world? It is what would make you want to. The first answer is the simple one. Sometimes you do not choose to leave. The world makes you. For most of history, humans lived at the mercy of nature. And nature was always changing. Ice ages came and went. Green lands turned to desert over time. Rivers dried up, forests grew and shrank. The big herds of animals that people ate for food moved with the seasons and the grass across huge distances. And if you lived off those herds, then you moved too. You followed the food because the food would not wait for you. Picture it. The land your grandparents loved slowly grows dry, year after year. The animals get harder to find. The plants stop growing. There is no shop to buy food. There is no one to help. There is only one choice. Somewhere out there, past the horizon, the land must be better. So you gather your people and your few things, and you walk toward that hope. Not for fun. To survive, this happened again and again over hundreds of thousands of years. A change in the weather would squeeze a region until people had to spread out into new land. The famous move of humans out of Africa, the journey that filled the whole world, was likely driven by just this: a changing climate, changing land, and the endless need to follow food and water. The planet itself was restless, and it kept its people moving. But here is what is interesting. If it was only about being forced to move, humans would have stopped the moment they found a good spot. They would have settled the first green valley and stayed forever. And that is not what happened, because something else was driving them too. Something that lived not in the world outside, but in the human mind. Here is where it gets deeply human, and honestly a little magical, even when they did not have to move. Even when there was plenty of food and safety, humans kept pushing into the unknown anyway. And the only way to explain it is something you feel yourself, every time you look at a horizon and wonder what is beyond it. Curiosity, the pull, the itch to see what is over there. No other animal does this the way we do. Animals spread out when they are forced to, when they need more food or space. But humans went to places that made no survival sense. We climbed mountains just to see the other side. We pushed into empty, brutal lands that gave us nothing. We got in boats and paddled toward a horizon with no promise that anything was out there at all. Somewhere in the human mind is a restless engine that is never happy with here. It is always, quietly, wondering about there, and think how strong that must have been to beat the fear. Because the unknown was truly scary. Past the edge of your land, there could be anything. Enemies. Deadly animals. Starving. For all they knew, the edge of the world itself. Every instinct for safety would tell you to stay where it is familiar. And still, again and again, humans looked at that scary unknown and felt something stronger than fear. A pull, a need to know. The first person to walk over each new mountain, to round each new coast, to step onto each new land, that person chose wonder over safety. And we are all the children of the ones who kept choosing it. Sit with that for a moment. You exist because, somewhere back in your family line, person after person chose not to stay put. They decided the unknown was worth the risk. If even a few of them had chosen comfort, had said this is far enough, and stopped, you might be a different person, in a different place, or not here at all. You come from the restless ones. The ones who could not stop wondering what was over the next hill. And nowhere is that courage bigger than when humans ran out of land and kept going anyway. Real quick, if this is giving you goosebumps like it gives me, do me one small favor and hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about the amazing true story of our ancestors, and there is a new one every week. That is it. Now let us get back to the edge of the world. Picture yourself on an old beach, tens of thousands of years ago. You have walked over many lifetimes, as far as the land will take you. And now you stand at the end of it. In front of you is the sea, stretching out to a line with no other side. Nothing but water, all the way to the sky. For any normal animal, this is where the trip ends. The land is done. Turn back. But humans looked at that endless water and figured out how to cross it. This is one of the most amazing facts in the whole human story, and most people have no idea. When the first humans reached Australia, and we know they did, at least 50,000 years ago, they could not have simply walked there. Even with lower seas back then, reaching Australia meant crossing open water, real stretches of sea where you could not see the other side. Which means 50,000 years ago, humans had boats. Or rafts. Some kind of craft, built on purpose, used on purpose, to carry people across the sea toward land they could not even see, and could only hope was there. Think about the mind that takes. Someone stood on that shore, looked at open sea, and chose to build a boat and paddle their family out past the point of no return, betting their lives on the hope that solid land was out there. That is not panic. That is one of the bravest, most creative managed acts in the history of life on Earth. And it happened tens of thousands of years before anyone built a pyramid. And they did not stop there. Look at the Pacific Ocean, the biggest, emptiest stretch of water on the planet, dotted with tiny islands far apart from each other, and humans found them. Almost all of them. Ancient sailors set out across thousands of miles of open sea in small canoes, and they settled specks of land so far away that you could sail right past by a few miles and never know they were there. How? With no compass, no tools, no maps. They read the world itself, the stars, the direction of the waves, the flight paths of birds, the color of the sky, the clouds that gather over hidden islands. They turned the whole ocean and sky into a map they kept in their heads and passed down through memory and song. It is one of the greatest feats of navigation humans have ever done. And it was done by people we wrongly imagine as simple. The water did not stop us. Nothing stopped us. We just kept finding ways to keep going. There is one more journey we have to talk about, because it is the greatest example of humans traveling into the total unknown. And it may be the most epic walk ever taken. For a long time, there were two huge lands on Earth with no humans on them at all. The Americas, North and South America, two whole continents, empty of people, waiting. And during the deepest part of the last ice age, so much water was locked up in ice that the seas dropped, and a bridge of land rose up between Asia and North America, where there is only sea today, and humans walked across it. Into a land no human eye had ever seen. Picture that walk. You are heading into a frozen, harsh land in brutal cold, following animals across a land bridge, toward a world that is totally unknown. No stories about it. Who ever came back to tell you what is there, because no human has ever been there. You are, quite simply, the first, and these travelers did not just peek in and turn around. Over the next generations, humans spread down through all of North America, through Central America, and all the way down the huge length of South America. Until they reached the far southern tip, the end of the livable world, many thousands of miles from where they began, let that sink in. From a land bridge in the frozen north, human families walked, lifetime after lifetime, until they ran out of land at the bottom of the world. Some of these journeys happened faster than scientists once believed. Humans pouring into and across a whole half of the planet in what, on the scale of history, was a blink. The restless engine, at full speed, filling two empty continents with human life and human stories. By the time it was all done, the walking, the sailing, the crossing of ice and sea and desert, humans had reached nearly every livable corner of the planet. One species, born in one small part of Africa, had spread its footprints across the whole Earth. No other big animal has ever done anything close. We are the species that went everywhere. Let us come back to the question we started with, because now we can answer it. And the answer has many layers, and it is beautiful. Part of it, for sure, was need. The changing weather, the moving herds, the dried-up rivers, the endless push to follow food and water. Survival kept humans moving for hundreds of thousands of years. But need alone cannot explain a species that crossed seas it could not see across, and walked into frozen lands no one had ever seen. For that, you need the other thing, the pull, the curiosity, the restless human need to know what is out there, to see the other side, to never accept that here is all there is. Humans are the animal that looks at a horizon and cannot leave it alone, and maybe there is a third thing under both, quieter and deeper. Hope. Every one of those journeys, the desperate ones and the bold ones alike, was driven by a belief that somewhere out there, things could be better. A better hunting ground, a safer valley, a richer shore, a new land that might, just might, be a kind of promised place. Humans travel because, deep down, we believe the horizon holds something worth reaching. That belief carried us out of Africa and all the way to the ends of the earth. It may be the most human thing there is. Here is the part that brings it home. Because this is not old history at all. It is you. That restless engine did not switch off when we finished filling the map. It is still running in every one of us. It is why you feel a pull when you see a photo of somewhere far away. It is why a road trip or a flight to a new country feels like something deep, not just a change of view. It is why I want to travel is one of the most common wishes humans say out loud. It is why we look up at the stars now, at other planets, at Mars, at worlds even harder to reach than that old ocean, and feel the very same thing our ancestors felt on that beach. What is out there? Could I reach it? What if it is better? We are not a species that stays put. We never have been. The same feeling that made someone paddle a raft toward an unseen shore 50,000 years ago is the feeling that lifts your heart when you plan a trip, or watch a rocket launch, or just stand somewhere high and look out at a view you have never seen. It is all the same restlessness, the same pull, the same refusal to believe that here is all there is. Our ancestors walked across the whole world on the strength of that feeling. They crossed ice and sea and desert into the unknown again and again because something in them could never stop wondering what lay beyond. And they passed that something down through thousands of years, all the way to you. So the next time you feel it, that quiet wish to go somewhere, to see something new, to find out what is over the horizon, do not be surprised by it. It is the oldest feeling we have. It is the thing that made us who we are. We were never meant to stay still. We are the species that walked the whole world. And somewhere deep inside, we are still walking.